Explore the most terrifying traps of the Vietnam War. From the depths of camouflage to the heights of cunning, let's see how the outnumbered and outgunned Viet Cong turn the tables. Number 10. Punji Stakes Pit. The Viet Cong took defense to the next level by turning Mother Nature into a deadly defender. Meet the Viet Cong's trusted allies, the bamboos, tall and numerous in Vietnam's green lands, ready for a surprise dance with any unwelcome guests. But, they weren't just your ordinary backyard bamboos. Oh no, these bad boys were sharper than your grandma's knitting pits, and laced with a deadly cocktail. Think poison, venom, and yes, even some human poop for that intimate personal touch. Now that's what they call organic warfare. Being the sneaky geniuses, the Viet Cong didn't just stick these spikes randomly. They dug a 12-inch pit, then strategically placed the poison-tipped spikes at tricky angles. They were like an extreme makeover team, hiding the pit with plants, grass, leaves, and nature's best disguise. It's as if they were playing a deadly game of hide-and-seek. Even Shakespeare would be impressed. To be impaled or not to be? That is the question. Then came the unsuspecting American troops, armed to the teeth, ready for battle, marching with a dash of overconfidence. I've heard about these Viet Cong traps, but come on, how bad can it be? I don't know, man. I heard they've got some real nasty surprises waiting for us.
Ha! What are they gonna do? Invite us to a bamboo barbecue?
Suddenly, bam! A wrong step and they'd find themselves in a world of pain. Spikes pointing up were eager to greet the unlucky ones, and those angled downward, they made sure getting free was even more painful.
Yeah, I guess the barbecue's on me, huh?
It's not deadly, you say? Well, getting skewered was the best case scenario. The worst was losing a limb, just a small setback, really. But as the saying goes in the jungle, the deeper the pit, the bigger the ouch! Some pits were so deep, they'd make the scariest tales seem like a bedtime story. If a soldier accidentally hit the hidden trigger, it was like opening the worst kind of surprise box. Whether falling face first or doing a backflip onto these spiky dangers, their fate was sealed. Yeah, you guessed it right, he would become a kebab. Well, you'll never complain about stepping on Legos again, right? At least there's no risk of becoming a human shish kebab. Number 9. Hey, before we continue, YouTube hasn't been recommending my videos lately. Maybe my videos are too much like my social skills, awkward and pathetic. If you could like and watch till the end, it would help more than you know. I promise this video is less cringe than my online dating profile. Thanks a lot. Number 9. Snake Pit Vipers. The cunning Viet Cong guerrillas, the jungle's very own escape artists, introduced this slithering shock in their tunnel defenses. Because why bother with guns when you have Mother Nature's finest hitmen by your service, right? Like a crafty planner of jungle battles, they tied a venomous pit viper around the bamboo sticks, creating a deadly masterpiece. The snakes also played along, blending in as if they were at a costume party. They strategically placed these deadly creatures in the middle of the tunnel passageways, making it a runway of doom for anyone daring to sneak into their tunnels. But the Viet Cong didn't just leave the trap behind. A guerrilla philosophy 101 was also echoing in the secret lairs. The cryptic code was 3-step snake. Was it a new dance move or an underground yoga technique? Spoiler alert, it's more lethal than the Macarena. When the American tunnel rats ventured into these narrow tunnels, they spotted these bamboos sticking out oddly.
Check out this stick, buddy. Do these Viet Cong think they can stop us with bamboo?
Those primitives never learn, do they?
This is gonna be a walk in the park.
Oh, the arrogance. A classic recipe for disaster. With a dismissive chuckle, they went to clear the bamboo, thinking it was all too easy. But surprise, surprise, how the tables turned. Moving the bamboo set off the trap, and the venomous serpent did a precision strike on the intruder's neck, turning him into a venomous foam dispenser. And the Viet Cong's mantra, 3-step snakes, well. Just imagine the Viet Cong whispering from the treetop, 1 step, 2 steps, and bam, down goes the soldier. Pretty dark, huh? Number 8. Bouncing Betty mines. In the dangerous terrain of the battleground, where every step could be your last, the Bouncing Betty mines lay in wait for their unsuspecting victims. The explosive beauties that could give even James Bond a reason to raise an impressed eyebrow. These devices were built with attention to detail and a touch of wickedness. Each bouncing Betty was a cylinder of doom, standing about 6 inches tall and 4 inches wide, packed with gunpowder, 360 steel balls for that extra oomph, and a TNT grand finale that would put any fireworks display to shame. The masterminds behind these mines played a deadly game of hide and seek with them, hiding them among rocks, dry grass, and sometimes setting them off with thin wires. One careless step, and voila! The dance of death commenced. Along comes an American squad, blissfully clueless about the explosive art waiting beneath their boots. And bam! The leading sergeant triggered the wire, setting off a 4-second countdown to disaster.
Huh, looks like we've hit the jackpot, team. Any final thoughts?
What the? Kaboom! And then with a muffled pop, the mine catapulted its cylindrical projectiles skyward, detonating into a gruesome shower of shrapnel balls. In the blink of an eye, the once proud soldiers become a grotesque fountain of blood, their limbs flying like gruesome brushstrokes across the war-torn canvas. The chilling reality of bouncing Betty mines serves as a grim reminder that in the chaos of war, danger doesn't just come knocking, it explodes right under you, making every piece of ground a deadly enemy. Number 7. Tripwire Grenade in a Can. Welcome to the deadly invention from a villain's wildest dreams. Let's meet the Tripwire Grenade in a Can, a device so wicked and sneaky, it could give nightmares a run for their money. So how do we make our welcome even more memorable?
Ever thought about a can of soda that goes pop in a more explosive way?
Introducing our main characters, grenade, a can, and a whole lot of trouble brewing. This isn't just any grenade, nope, it's one with a trick up its sleeve. A pull to explode kind, without any time to run away. Oh, and did I mention it's got a tripwire? Yeah, that's right, a tripwire. Now, they don't just pop this naughty grenade into any old can. No sir, it's crammed into a can of doom. Definitely not the kind you'd crack open for a casual sip. But a can that's ready to shout, watch out, or it's kaboom time. The gorillas delicately nestled the grenade in the can, ensuring it was snug and secure. The can had to be just the right size, big enough for the grenade, yet small enough to keep the lever in check. The air was thick with suspense, the situation tense. Imagine Jenga, but instead of blocks, it's a deadly game with human lives waiting to collapse. With the grenade set in its sneaky spot, the can was attached to something sturdy, like a tree trunk, pole, or stick with wire or tape, hanging just a few inches to a couple of feet off the ground. A perfect setup to catch someone off guard. But wait, there's more. A thin tripwire delicately connected to anchors on the opposite end. A wire playing a risky dance with the grenade's pin, all set up for a grand explosion.
Eyes sharp. The Viet Cong love their tricks. What's next? Exploding coconuts?
And then it happened. One wrong step, a careless tug of the wire, and voila, boom.
I preferred coconuts.
Our unsuspecting intruders went from war hero to a crispy heap of ashes. And wishing they had made different decisions before rushing into this dangerous place. Number 6. Cartridge Trap. A sinister creation birthed amid the chaos of the Vietnam War, a place where danger was always playing a game of hide and seek. And the only sure thing was uncertainty. Crafted by the cunning hands of the Viet Cong, this trap was far from your friendly welcome mat. It was more like a silent predator waiting to catch anyone who dared to come too close. Let's meet the unusual team. A simple bamboo shoot, a single nail, and an old discarded rifle cartridge. Seems harmless, right? Oh, how appearances deceive. These ordinary items join forces to become the unholy trinity of terror. The bamboo, acting all innocent, held a nail ready to trigger a deadly shot. Meanwhile, the rifle cartridge, lurking like a serpent in the grass, awaited its moment to strike from the earth. Think they'll notice our little bamboo, nail, and cartridge present?
If they do, it'll be the last sharp observation they make.
Crafted with meticulous cruelty by the Viet Cong, these traps weren't just thrown around anywhere. They were placed where people walked a lot, like supply paths. No, the Viet Cong weren't aiming for a mere flesh wound, they were gunning for the soul, unleashing a tidal wave of uncertainty and fear. Each step became a gamble with mortality, a dance of life and death where a misstep on the bullet spelled doom. The bullet, propelled by fate, then slammed into the nail, serving as a makeshift firing pin. The result? A loud bang, and a bullet right into the intruder's foot, possibly even higher up to the calf or thigh. Here comes one, stepping right where we want him. Wait for it. Wait for it. And that's how you make a statement without saying a word. But oh, the Cartridge Trap was not just about causing pain. It was a psychological time bomb that messed with minds, filling every move with fear and making every sound in the jungle a reason to jump. A simple crack of a twig, a rustle in the leaves, or even the soft sound of the breeze turned into eerie signs of what might come next. Number 5. Rigging symbols. In the sneaky game of war, the Viet Cong weren't just showing off their flags. They were setting up explosive tricks that made their enemies step into danger. Welcome to the deadly world of rigged symbols, where the fluttering flags and gleaming war trophies held more surprises than a twisted magician's hat. It's a trap extravaganza. Let's spice up these flags, shall we? A little surprise for those itching to take them down. I've got just the thing. Let's make those flag-hugging Americans regret every touch. Before leaving their base, the Viet Cong discreetly attached grenades beneath those flagpoles, promising a spectacular airburst when the unsuspecting enemy attempted to bring it down. Little did the enemy know that pulling the lanyard to bring down the flag turned their victory into a dangerous celebration. Boom! The flag became more than just a symbol. It became a party pooper, catching the enemy off guard. But wait, there is more. The guerrilla genius weren't done with just messing with flags. They knew exactly what the Americans liked to take as war keepsakes. Those Americans love their war trophies, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Let's give them a souvenir they'll never forget.
And so the guerrilla genius struck again, hatching another wicked plan. Trophies booby-trapped with explosives turned a collector's dream into a deadly nightmare. And boy, did they hit the mark.
Check out these trophies, guys. I'm bringing them a piece of history.
This helmet looks amazing. It's mine. They didn't know that their hunt for keepsakes was leading them straight to a deadly show, a kind of fireworks no one wanted, where reaching out meant meeting a tragic end. Heads flew off, dreams detonated into ashes, leaving the enemy both shocked and outwitted. In this crafty game of trickery, the guerrillas played their hand with wicked skill, leaving their enemies puzzled. Well, those who had anything left to scratch their heads with, bewildered and, dare I say, a tad blown away. Number 4. Helicopter Can. In the murky underworld of warfare, where Brilliance dons a sinister smirk, meet the Helicopter Can Trap, a terrifying masterpiece that transforms the dance of destruction into an art form so chilling that it would make Vincent van Gogh shiver. What's more terrifying than a minefield? A sky field.
Skyfield? You mean like mines in the sky?
Exactly. Let's give those helicopters a warm welcome. Think of a lonely place where helicopters land, marked by an eerie X of poles, standing 50 feet apart like sentinels of doom. At the heart of this deadly setup was a can. Not any ordinary can, but one ready to explode, holding a grenade pinched by a pin. And those 4 stakes? Oh, they were more than mere markers. They hold these catastrophic cans horizontally, keeping the grenades lever tight. It's all set up for a treacherous dance, just waiting for its moment in the spotlight. And here comes the tripwires, the quiet schemers setting up a trap above the ground. As a helicopter descended onto this deadly landing spot, it accidentally dances into this risky setup.
The landing zone looks clear, easy in, easy out.
What's with the poles and cans? So some kind of jungle art?
What the? That's no art!
A gentle pull and the tripwires let go, freeing the grenades from their cans, and boom! The flying beast turned to ashes. Even if the helicopter missed the wires, the danger wasn't gone. It got worse. Soldiers getting off might accidentally hit the wires without seeing them, causing grenades to blow up everywhere. So it's dangerous no matter what, and even descending from the heavens doesn't mean you're safe. Number 3. Bamboo Whip. Ever heard of the Viet Cong's twisted version of a botanical horror show? Behold the Bamboo Whip, a mean piece of work dreamed up by the Viet Cong, where they mix nature's beauty with a bunch of murderous flair. Picture this wicked creation, a towering 6 feet and 7 inches of green bamboo. Not just any bamboo, mind you. This one came with a foot-long sharp spike at its end, a shiny harbinger of doom. You think they'll see the beauty in our bamboo whip?
Oh, they'll see it all right. Just not the kind of beauty they're used to.
With an air of suspense, the bamboo pole, bent and loaded with pressure, assumed an arced position, coiled like a serpent ready to strike. Crafted with devilish precision, this trap was no ordinary forest foliage. It was a lethal weapon disguised in greenery, waiting patiently for its prey. Now, how did this wicked device do its thing, you might ask? That's where the suspense built, my curious comrades. A tripwire cunningly concealed across a jungle trail waited for someone to accidentally touch it. And when triggered, oh, the horror.
Yeah, here comes one. Watch as our garden fights back.
Mother Nature's on our side. Let's see how they like her embrace.
When fate intervened, and unlucky Mr. Tripster stumbled upon the tripwire's hidden dance floor, the catch device sprung into action.
Now that's what I call a hug from hell.
The spike at the pole's end propelled forward at an unimaginable 100 miles per hour, resembling nature's own high-speed javelin, on a mission to impale its chest-height target. Mr. Tripster's neck? Yeah, perfectly in sight as the final destination. But wait, there's even more. This sinister creation didn't just have one sharp end, it loved drama. And for extra excitement, it could send out 3 or 4 spiked bamboo arrows, transforming it into a nightmare of impalement. Now imagine the enemy troops tiptoeing through thick plants, blissfully ignorant of the lurking danger. Suddenly a snap echoed, a blur of motion, and then... well, I'll let your imagination fill in the scary details, my friend. Number 2. Tiger Trap. Hold on, before you reach for that safari hat, this isn't a story about big cats jumping out at you. We're not actually using tigers here, so you can relax. It's not a wild animal tale, and no tigers were harmed. But for the unwelcome guests, that's a whole different story. Hidden in the dense jungle, the Viet Cong set up a truly tricky trap.
Let's give them a surprise they'll never forget. How about a welcome mat that really says hello?
Oh, I've got just the thing. Picture this. Spikes, bricks, and gravity.
This wasn't your ordinary garden trap, this was evil engineering at its finest. Behold the scene, a large man-sized plank, not something you'd find in any backyard. This thing was loaded with spikes and bricks, ready to make any castle's torture chamber look friendly. Suspended like a deadly pendulum, this lethal setup hovered 15 feet above the jungle floor and dangled from an almost invisible wire at a waist length. If you think you'd spot it from a mile away, think again. It was so well hidden, you'd practically walk into it without noticing until it was too late. Now cue our unsuspecting soldiers, marching along, likely whistling a merry tune or exchanging war stories when suddenly, wham! The leading sergeant triggered the tripwire, slightly tied at waist level, activating the deadly trap. And down came the spikes, bricks, and the whole shebang, like doom dropping from the sky, catching those poor souls in its deadly embrace. It turned the trail into a canvas of crimson chaos, a real do-it-yourself horror show. And what of the survivors, you ask? Oh, if any, their morale didn't just take a hit, it got squished flatter than a pancake under that merciless plank. And the takeaway? Strolling in the jungle might just end up being your last DIY project. Number 1. Swinging Mace. Welcome to the lethal limbo, crafted by the twisted genius of the Viet Cong. Forget about ordinary traps, this is a wicked work of art, mixing cleverness and cruelty in a way that could scare the bravest of hearts before stepping into the unknown.
How do we elevate our game? Our traps need a bit more swing.
Say no more. Imagine a piñata, but instead of candy, it's all spikes and doom.
Think of a massive wooden log or ball covered in super sharp spikes, swinging through the air like a pendulum of impending doom. This was more than a trap, it was a nightmare hanging from the trees. And where was this deadly device hidden? Right in the thick of the jungle, where this fearsome invention was perfectly camouflaged in the lush green, waiting for its moment to strike. But that's not all. These clever folks didn't stick to just one version. They adjusted the size and swing based on where they set it up, aiming for a maximum damage. From narrow trails to wide open roads, no one was safe from their strategic savagery. Then comes our clueless visitor, blissfully unaware of the impending doom above, entering the danger zone. Suddenly, snap! The tripwire triggered, and down came the swinging mace, delivering a bone-crushing thud. Ouch! Precision at its peak, right on the noggin.
That was a direct hit. Think he saw it coming?
If he did, it was the last thing he saw. Our jungle gym doesn't play nice.
But hey, you gotta hand it to the Viet Cong. They sure knew how to make a walk in the jungle unforgettable, even if it meant turning their enemies' skulls into a piñata party. You see, these Viet Cong traps are just the beginning. Imagine missing the story of an execution that changed history. Don't be left out. Discover the shocking execution that everyone should know about. But few do. It's almost criminal not to watch. I'll see you there.